I think this is probably, outside of the Wrangler, the most off-road worthy Jeep.
Good driver? Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, tell me about the different kinds of four-wheel drive variations and systems that you can get a Cherokee. And obviously this is a Trailhawk, so we've got the top of the line here. But let's start with the base.
Okay, start with the base. All-wheel drive is called, we call it Active Drive 1, and that's got a one-speed power takeoff. It doesn't have any high-low range or anything, and that's just where a customer can just set it and go, and it'll call up four-wheel drive when you need it. When you don't, it'll completely disconnect the rear end and to save fuel economy. So that's Active Drive 1. That's the majority of them. The second one, we've got Active Drive 2, and it's optional on models from Latitude Plus up. That's one where we've got a 2-speed power takeoff, and that's got the low and high range, and it's a real low range in the vehicle. So, that's for people if you're towing boats out of a launch or whatever your needs may be. So if you get into the Trailhawk, which we're in right now, this has got Active Drive Lock, which is basically Active Drive 2. However, it also has a full locking rear axle on this. You've got four-wheel drive low, you've got a locking axle, and you've got hill descent here where it'll maintain your speed going down a hill. We've also got select speed right here, this other one, and that's really basically cruise control for off-road. You can go up, down, you can set it to 0.6, and that's the default value, and it'll take it to it'll keep it at that speed and apply the brakes and everything else for you as you need it in throttle. And you can go up and down the speed by putting in the manual gate and hitting plus or minus, and it'll go up, and I think it's 0.3.
What's the base speed? You said how fast?
0.6 miles an hour, which is very slow as it turns out.
So you have to plug in and be neutral, right?
Yes.
Four low, let's do 4 low.
And then it'll wait for it to engage. It'll stop flashing when you're
Let's lock the rear diff.
Okay. Yeah.
Might as well.
And then you have to start driving a little bit and going around the corner, and then it'll lock eventually when it's there. You go. You're locked.
We're locked. Okay, good. That's
We're
pretty
locked and low.
And then we've got auto, snow, sport, sand, mud, and rock. Now those are algorithms, right? So it's using the vehicle's stability control system to sense which wheel has traction, which wheel doesn't.
Yep, and in the case of sand and mud, we allow more slippage, because that's what you have to do to get momentum. Sport changes the shift points and so forth for an on-road type of experience. Snow, of course, starts in second gear for low traction situations. And then rock has specifically got tunings just for like in a loose rock type situation, which we'll be coming up to shortly.
I noticed also that it turns the park sense off.
Yeah.
So you don't get that annoying beeping.
Yep, you'll have that beeping otherwise all the time at you. So.
Okay, now we got 3 all kind of rotating.
All right, so this is a course that you guys have built specifically for this program. So let's see how difficult it is. This is a kind of rock field that I think a lot of people would worry about, because it could tear the bottom out of a Jeep.
Yep, and you definitely have trouble walking across here. So it's, and we've got skid plates, of course, on all trails.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. How much of it is covered?
It's very well covered underneath with the skid plates.
Gives me more control. Thank you very much.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
You nailed it. This brand new 2-liter turbo, it's very powerful, puts out 270 horsepower and 295 pound-foot of torque. That is a lot of torque for a mid-size crossover. It actually shares a lot of its architecture with its Alfa Romeo sibling, believe it or not. So there's a little bit of Italian now in this Jeep. Of course, this Jeep is not built in Italy, but it is built in Belvidere, Illinois, and it will be available at your local Jeep dealership first quarter of this year. All right, so here we have a little bit of articulation demonstration. So we've got a little bit of a pit.
Again, one of the 5 elements of trail rating is articulation.
Yeah.
So we got traction,
Yeah.
water fording, maneuverability, articulation, and ground clearance.
And badassness.
That too. That's the 6th one.
That's the 6th one. That's the one that's not in your notes there.
Right.
Oh, hit a little bit there. There you go. Found its own traction.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. I bet you'll agree with this. That makes the biggest difference is tires.
Yes, yeah, it makes a big difference.
Because that's the part where really you're getting or not getting your grip from.
And actually on these tires, they look the same as the outgoing model, but we reformulated these in their lower rolling resistance. But again, going along with the trail rating element for traction, they still had to meet all their snow, off-road, sand, everything traction.
What kind are they?
Firestone Destination.
Okay.
Switch into sand and mud.
Okay, I can do that. Like we talked about before, you know, even with this new calibrated transmission, it doesn't seem to be struggling at all. And I have, you know, I'm going about as slow as you can go here.
Yeah.
And it seems to be about the right speed. I feel like I've got enough control without sacrificing any drivability. All right, so we've got a bit of a, looks like a test of breakover angle here. I don't know how much is over on the other side, but it looks like this is a...
We'll see.
We'll see.
This may have got knocked down a little bit yesterday. We just touched it right here. Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
We got a car coming down, so it's not good.
Okay.
Up we go.
This is something you might really not want to try unless you're really well equipped to go up a hill like this. So
Yeah, it looks pretty steep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a little bit of momentum here. Momentum's always good. This is where we want it.
Yeah, and this is where the lockers will really help you out going up here.
Just keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Figuring it out.
Yep. Needs a little time to get through. There's a good one.
Yeah, that's a
That'll
good
make
one.
nice footage.
Thank you. And the,
Okay,
the
thank
locking
you.
definitely helps there.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I say, thank God this isn't mine. Because I think if this were mine, I'd be sweating bullets right about now.
Yeah, I think this is one I probably would choose not to
Not
come through.
to go
and
through,
if
yeah,
I
exactly.
really knew I could get through here.
I
And we
think
can.
I think a Wrangler would be, you know, my choice of rides through here.
So I did this one yesterday, so I know it works.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. Thank you. So again, that's an example of capability that I think very few people would ever get to that point, but it's pretty impressive.
Especially in this class of vehicle.
Yeah.
Hey! Okay, that is our old pal Emmy Hall taking the course on the way back. Now, I bet that a lot of you probably won't be taking your brand new Cherokees, even the Trailhawk versions, on something like this, but at least now you know that if you had to, you can. And best of all, I didn't have to worry about spending money on any trail damage because I was with the chief engineer and it's his vehicle. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, real world Jeep reviews.